Creating an engaging environment for young people to learn is critical to their success. Megan McClellan with Believe in a Dream tells us the how on the Midwest Flourish. Greetings, I'm Rick Farrant, and I'm your host for the Midwest Flourish. And our guest today is Megan McClellan, who is the new Executive Director of Believe in a Dream in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Welcome, Megan.
Thanks for having me, Rick.
Believe in a Dream seems to have this sort of eclectic combination of things that you offer. I think it makes it unique that way. You've got music and leadership and entrepreneurship. Tell us about the organization and who it serves, the region it serves, how old the kids are, and basically what, in general terms, what it provides.
So each of our programs is a little bit different, but in general, we serve any student in middle and high school in the Northeast Indiana region. So they do not have to be in Fort Wayne community schools. They could be homeschooled. Some of our programs, like our music program, is 6th through 12th, so all middle and high school students. Our tech program is 8th through 12th. And then like our entrepreneurship and leadership, those are just for high school students. But they don't have to be in any one specific school. They could be homeschooled, parochial school. All are invited.
Yeah, and I'm kind of curious. I didn't ask this ahead of time, but so is this a situation where this is outside of the school schedule or within a school schedule?
These are outside of school. So usually in the evenings, we have one program that's going to become a summer program, a summer camp. But yeah, most of them are in the evenings so that students from any school can come and participate.
So I'm going to assume that Believe in a Dream is designed to position young people from a character and skill development standpoint to succeed not only in life, but succeed in whatever occupation they choose. Would that be an apt description?
Yeah, we really want all students to be able to reach their full potential, whatever that is. If that's in art or music or entrepreneurship or leadership. I mean, we have students who take the entrepreneurship classes and program and then go on to start their own business. But even if they don't, the skills that they learned help them in whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
Same with music or leadership, for sure.
I'm going to describe like Believe in a Dream as a three-legged stool simply because you have three legs of it. So if you would delve a little bit deeper into each one of those legs and what students might get out of each one of them.
Absolutely. Like I said, we want to reach their potential, whatever it is. So in our arts program called Master the Music, we have two different music programs. The String Dreams Concert was our first ever program, and it brings students from all different schools into one single concert in the spring. And like over 300 string students all on the stage at once playing. Amazing. But then we also have String Jams, which is much smaller, but goes out to community events and allows the students to play sort of pop and rock and get out in the community.
If I'm not very good about, like I do play some instruments, but I do not play the strings. If I kind of suck at it, can I participate in this?
So for students who want to participate, they have to have 1 year of experience on their string instrument. We do also pull in a person to play the drums. We have, a few specific things, but generally it's just strings. But if they've had just 1 year of experience, private lessons, school lessons, whatever it is, they can come and participate in String Jams. The String Dreams concert goes through the orchestra directors at the different schools. So maybe they have just a small orchestra program, but this allows them to get the big orchestra experience.
Okay. Now let's move on to another leg of that stool.
Another leg. All right. So our leadership program is just for high school students, but after school, so from any school district. The freshmen do a program called JumpStart, where they learn what their personal brand is and really learn about themselves. And then sophomores and juniors do Summit, which they learn their Clifton strengths and really get into the meat of leadership. Once they've completed that, if they're interested, they can go on and be a Trailblazer, which is actually like a mentor to the new students coming in. And we have over 100 students who are now Trailblazers, and they're in college, they're in military, they like zoom in from around the world of military bases and things. It's really cool for these current high school students to say, those students were sitting right here just a couple of years ago, and now look where they are. So really exciting. And then last is our tech entrepreneurship program. We've got a group in Kosciuszko County, Warsaw area. They do the Kosciuszko Student Venture Challenge, where they meet monthly and have mentors come in and help them to develop their entrepreneurial idea for a business. We had something similar here in Fort Wayne, but that program director left, and the new program director who came in was talking to students and found that they were really wanting to learn more about emerging technologies. So we sort of switched that program a little, and it's now tech entrepreneurship, and they are learning about AI and other things like facial recognition, things like that. And they do a hands-on program where they actually like build a robot or something, and then get to program it with some of this advanced technology, and then they discuss how that advanced technology might be put to use in the future and how it could help or hurt them in the entrepreneurship field.
So you have a couple of these programs that are kind of segmented by county. Well, in that one case, so is that an issue of an interest on the part of an instructor or a school district, or will Believe in a Dream try to expand those because they're good programs? In other words, I guess what I'm saying is, do you sit there and wait for somebody to come to you and say, we'd like to partner and put on this program? Or do you think that you'll be proactive in the future where you'll go to every county and say, hey, we've got these two programs, they work really good. Would you be interested in doing something similar?
It's a good question. I think the plan is we do want to expand, but we also have to be aware of our capacity. And right now our capacity does not allow us to be proactive and go out. However, if there is interest elsewhere, and they can provide that capacity, we are more than willing to help with training, being fiscal agent, helping to expand the programming and continue it to as many students as possible. But in our current setup, we just don't have the capacity to reach out at this point.
Because I know there have been programs in the region. This is probably true anywhere in the country, where you might have a student sitting in one pocket, one pocket of an area, and goes, "Geez, I really love what those students are doing over there, but we don't have it." Mm-hmm. And so I've always wondered how a region can go about ensuring that if there's a really good program, that every student can access it.
So how the Kosciuszko Student Venture Challenge came about was that they had some funding to work with their rural communities to determine what the rural communities really wanted. And those communities said, we need more things to keep young people here in the community. We need them to understand how to become an entrepreneur and open their own business right here, or succession plan and take over businesses that are here, small businesses. And that's what they really wanted. And so this planning grant came with some funding to actually make something happen. And they said, well, how can we teach youth entrepreneurship? Well, we hear there's this great program in Fort Wayne. So our entrepreneurship director went to Kosciuszko County and helped them set up their program and start running it. And even though he's not working with them directly anymore, we still communicate a lot with our fiscal agent, and the program is based off of everything that we've done here. So That's a really good way. If they already have some funding, but they just need the setup.
Right, right.
Then on the other end of that, one of our students who went through the Pave the Path leadership program went on to college, eventually got his PhD, became a professor, and now wants to start his own version of Pave the Path. I believe he's in Texas, wants to start it down there. And so he's already been through the program. He knows how it works. And so we're looking at figuring out how to help him start that down in Texas.
So in one form, you actually may be going national.
We might be going national.
Yeah.
It's very exciting. We definitely want to help anyone who wants to have a similar program. The more students we can help, the better. But we just have to look at our capacity.
Yeah, right.
And if they can bring capacity, we can provide the information.
So in your vision statement, you encourage young people to not only dream and believe, but to do. So, there's this thinking, right, that, dreaming and believing is nothing without action.
True.
So you have action within the program, but does the program in any way help a student think beyond that program to how this is going to, how they can actually pragmatically apply what they've learned to real life?
Absolutely. I mean, it's built into every one of our programs.
I mean, that's the do part.
That's the do part. So the students who go through the arts program, the music program, they come out of this able to play their string instrument in orchestras, whether professionally or just for fun. They have that experience. They can do that. And we've actually had quite a few who have gone on to become professional musicians or music educators. And that's true in the leadership one as well. Students going on to form nonprofits and things like that have been very successful. Our entrepreneurship, obviously those students are learning how to build their business, and so they can take this information they've got and go and actually implement it right away. And they have mentors in the communities that they are in, so that when they leave the program itself, they still have that mentor. They still have all those things that they learned and the support, even if they're not directly in the program.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Like, are there people around that they can still consult with or talk with about whatever it is that they're pursuing?
Absolutely. That's a big part. There's mentors in all of our programs, or like in the music program, we have professional musicians come in and play with the students at their concerts or at their programs. The leadership, they have leaders come and speak at every meeting. The entrepreneurship, they have entrepreneurs coming in. And like our tech program is actually held at Indiana Tech, and some of the professors are there helping with the program. So if these students are interested in continuing in that direction, they already have some of that experience at a university that they can build on to continue their experience.
Mm-hmm. I spoke with your arts director recently. You know that you had an event, and she, if I have this correctly, she said that there were several hundred young people involved in the music program. I'm not going to get this right because I heard two different numbers. I think one was a number that was current, one was a number that was, I'm not sure. It was either 300 or 500, but a large number of students.
Yes.
I'm wondering, how do you go about, and then you said, what is it, in one tech program you have 100 students involved. How do you get that many students involved? I mean, that's pretty impressive. From a logistic point, I want to know, but obviously there's something good about the program that many students want to participate, which is not the logistical thing. It's like what appeals to them.
Yeah, and that's just it, is that the vast majority of the students that come to our program come by word of mouth. I mean, some of them, their teachers or advisors send them to us, or they maybe see it on our social media or something. But in general, when you have a student who enjoys it, then they tell their friends and bring their friends. And, like at string jams, if you have one student from a school join the String Jams program, then the next semester you have 3 students from that school, and the next semester you have 6, because they just keep bringing their friends and telling them, you got to come to this. This is great.
Well, one of the challenges, Megan, because you'll hear this from students, is they go to school all day, and plus it's an unusually challenging time for a young person to grow up, much more than when I grew up, right? So, and plus you have all of these other things that are competing for your time. So if you're not sick and tired of school or learning by the end of a school day, you've got a whole host of things that you can go escape into. And that was part of where my question came from was, but they chose this.
Yes.
Why is that? I mean, aside from the fact that a student says, oh, this is really cool, you have to come, why are they choosing this?
Our program directors. That is the end of it right there. Our program directors are amazing and so inspirational. So our music program director is Colleen Phillips. She is a full-time teacher at Memorial Park Middle School and also teaches, works for us part-time and plays in a band and does a million other things. And she just has so much energy, and the kids love being with her. And so my daughter is in her program, and we've just had several days off of school because of this cold. And this morning they finally got to go back to school, and she was so excited. And she's most excited because she gets to go back and play her cello with the orchestra and with Miss Phillips and play, and Miss Phillips has encouraged her to pick up another instrument. And the same thing with the leadership program. That's Jeff Roberts. He is a full-time teacher at Amp Lab over at Electric Works, and so he teaches all day, and then he does this in the evening, and yet he is so inspirational, and the students just really feel a connection to him and to each other and to the mentors that come in to speak with them, and it is such a fulfilling. It really fills their cup and to be in that situation. So
I think one of the advantages that nonprofits, as opposed to school districts, because I've done some work with nonprofits that work with young people, is as an instructor or as a leader in those groups, you are not confined by all of the rules and regulations that actually confine the teachers in school districts. And they're wonderful teachers, but there are just so many hoops that they have to jump through. Whereas a program like this, I'm sure, you don't have to do that. And really, you're creating a much deeper one-on-one relationship with the student that's not predicated on test scores.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. They get a lot more one-on-one time with the kids, and the kids they connect so well with the other students, with the teacher, with the mentors, with the activities they're doing. And when they feel that connection, they just want to bring their friends and bring everybody else to it. And that's how we get so many students. And they come back year after year for all of our programs. And then, if they've been in one, then they are encouraged to join another one because they know how good the first one was. And so we get some cross-reference too. Although I have to say, not all our music kids are tech kids and things like that. It is fun to see when they're in multiple and you're like, hey, I know you from,
It's always a grind for nonprofits to keep their heads above water. I know that, having worked for a number of nonprofits. And I do want to talk a little bit about your background in a bit, but you're new to Believe in a Dream. What are some of the significant challenges that you and the organization are facing right now?
So I think the main one...
I think you mentioned one. I think it's capacity.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The main one we've sort of talked about is capacity, because we have so many great ideas, and the programs are just growing and growing because the students love them so much, and we keep coming up with new great ideas. But in order to be able to actually bring them to fruition, we need capacity. So And one of the ways we're working on that is a lot of community partnerships. So we obviously partner with Fort Wayne Community Schools, but also with Pearl Arts Center and Ivy Tech, or Indiana Tech, and Purdue, Fort Wayne, and the AMP Lab at Electric Works. We're looking at partnerships with like Boys and Girls Club and Fort Wayne Philharmonic, just to get more capacity by working together.
You've got, and I'm sure another one is money, right? It's always fundraising. You always need money. So you have a fundraiser coming up March 26th.
Yes.
I'd like you to talk a little bit about that, but I also I would like you to talk about that also in the context of, this region, like many regions in the country, has a wealth of organizations that in one form or another deal with young people. And so I want you to, I'm sure it's probably hard for you to do it. Why should a person focus on Believe in a Dream? Maybe not excluding the others, but perhaps excluding it because, we have a finite amount of money to give. So tell me about the gala that you have coming up, and then also talk a little bit about why an investment in Believe in a Dream would be a good thing.
So I'm actually going to do those the other way around first.
Okay,
I'm going to talk about the why Believe in a Dream. And yes, there are so many amazing nonprofits out there, and wish you could give to all of them, but capacity for an organization is an issue, but so it is for a family, and I understand. But Believe in a Dream has been around since 2010, so for 16 years, and we have provided over 5,000 immersive experiences for middle and high school students. And every single one of those is free to the student. There are some where there's a charge for materials, but then there's a scholarship for anyone who cannot pay that. Very easy, they get it back. Thousands of experiences, all for free for any student who wants them. And that's really hard to see in any of these other organizations. They just don't quite have that impact, especially not when you consider that Believe in a Dream has one full-time employee. That, we can make a lot happen with a little. And so I encourage people to make a donation to us because we can make it go a long ways for a lot of kids.
Yeah, that one full-time employee is you.
Yes, it is. And in regards to the gala, it will be on March 26th, like you said, at the Muro Center. And tickets are $75 a piece. Get dinner and entertainment and a lot of fun. One of the reasons our gala is so special is that it's not just a fundraiser, it's also an opportunity for our students to show off all the things that they've been working on this year. So our string jam students will be there to play, and our entrepreneurship students will be there with some of their ideas for businesses and to pitch their ideas, and we'll have, tech students there running the show. I mean, we have a student who's going to be helping us MC. They're really involved in the whole process. And so if you want to come out and see what Believe in a Dream is all about while getting a good dinner and entertainment, $75 isn't easy. And if you're a company that would like to sponsor, we can do that as well. You can do it all. Just go to our website, believeinaDream, all one word, .com.
Okay, terrific. You've already mentioned, in general, some success stories. I think you mentioned somebody earlier on that left the program and wants to, got his education, wants to start a similar program down in Texas. Certainly don't have to name names, but maybe a couple of examples of success stories that come to mind for you.
So one that we highlighted in our end of year mailing this year, I'll just bring her back up again because she is so amazing. She is a Hispanic background, and she came to Fort Wayne and did our entrepreneurship and our leadership programming. And as she was preparing to go to college, she realized there really wasn't much support for Hispanic first-time college students, first in their family to go to college. And so as she was going, she got into, where did she end up going? To Notre Dame. She went to Notre Dame as a first one in her family. And after she graduated, she started a nonprofit that she had sort of come up with while in the programs in our entrepreneurship program to help Hispanic students, but not getting into college, but while they're in college, to give them mentors and give them support while they're there to help them stay there. And she actually ended up going to Oxford in the UK and getting her master's degree. But the whole time she's still working and still got this nonprofit going to help Hispanic folks in the U.S. in their college journey. So that's just an amazing, the fact that we could be part of that story and part of the inspiration for her continued work is amazing.
And that's good. I mean that's so good. I don't even know that you need to mention
any others.
Well, no. I mean, getting into Notre Dame, surviving Notre Dame, which is pretty rigorous, is an amazing thing. So I would like to know, in the last couple minutes that we have, how you got involved in Believe in a Dream, but more importantly, where does your passion lie for this? Because I'm going to assume that this is not just a job for you, even though it's nice to have a job.
It's good to get paid for it, but I'm glad I am doing something I love and can get paid for that. Yeah, so I first became aware of Believe in a Dream when my daughter was in 6th grade and became part of the String Dreams concert, the big concert with hundreds of kids. It was just so amazing to see my little 6th grader with 2 years on her cello up there playing with hundreds of other kids. Just so emotional. And then I heard that they were looking for an executive director. And I was like, well, I don't know much about running an orchestra. And then I started.
You're actually getting emotional talking about this, Megan. You are. Okay, keep going. I'm sorry.
And so I said, I don't know much about running an orchestra, but I'll look into it. And then I realized Believe in a Dream was a lot more than just an orchestra, that they had all this entrepreneurship and leadership and all these other amazing programs. And so I went for the interview and I was like, I don't know how to run any of these things. And they're like, you don't have to. We have amazing program directors to do that. You need to do the behind the scenes, support them, raise the funds, work on the marketing. And I was like, yeah, the marketing, we need to work on that. Because being a parent who was part of the program and not realizing that there was so much more to it. So I love coming in and being able to support our amazing program directors and help them to bring these programs to more students and just get the word out there so that more people know about the amazing things that Believe in a Dream is doing, so that we can expand our capacity and expand to more students in more places and more programs.
Yeah. Listen, it's been delightful to have you here, Megan. Thank you very much for dropping by, and good luck with your gala in March.
Thank you so much. Can I just add a couple more things?
Sure.
I wanted to also let people know that in addition to the gala, which is happening in March, we have several other events and opportunities coming up. That big String Dreams concert I kept talking about, that's going to be at Wayne High School on May 17th. And then the String Jams group, which is the smaller group, does a spring performance at the Botanical Conservatory. That'll be right afterwards on May 28th. And so it's really cool because it's outside, surrounded by the trees and plants and things, and playing string music. And then our Pave the Path leadership program does a golf outing, and the students run the whole thing. It's really cool. And that's on June 20th at Colonial Oaks. And you can find information about all of those on our website. But I just wanted people to know what all's coming up and how they could come visit some of our kids.
Very cool. Thank you, Megan.
Thank you. Appreciate that you had me on.
That's a wrap on today's episode of the Midwest Flourish podcast. Want to dig deeper or get involved? Head to marketingthemidwest.com to explore how we can work together to empower your community to flourish. Let's keep the Midwest momentum going and shape the future of our region together.